Welcome back, everyone. World Baseball News for the week of January 16th. We've got a lot to talk about today. Postseason in all Caribbean leagues. Some have already begun their championship series. Others are in the semifinals. A couple still in the round-robin stage. 8 league champions will be crowned in the next 2 weeks. ABL season in Australia is entering the final week of its regular season. NPB Hall of Fame inductees were announced. And final rosters and semi-complete rosters were released for the WBC. One of the most anticipated roster announcements came over the weekend when Samurai Japan announced its final 30-man roster, and here it is. Pitchers Shohei Ohtani, Yu Darvish, Shosei Togo, Roki Sasaki, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Those 5 had been announced the week before. Joining them are Ryoji Kurubayashi, Atsuki Yuasa, Taisei Ota, Yuki Uragawa, Hiroto Takahashi, Hiromi Ito. Lefties Shota Imanaga, Yuki Matsui, Hiroya Miyagi, and Keiji Takahashi. The only big-name pitchers not there are Kodai Senga and Kaima Taira. Senga just signed with the New York Mets this offseason, so he'll be getting adjusted to his new team. Taira, one of the best relievers in NPB, is competing for a starting role this year, so he'll be working on that. Catchers Takuya Kai, Yuhei Nakamura, and Takumi Oshiro. The one missing is Tomoya Mori. He signed with the Oryx Buffaloes during the offseason and would like to focus on getting used to working with the Buffaloes pitching staff before the season begins. Infielders Sosuke Genda, Shugo Maki, Munetaka Murakami, Tetsuto Yamada, Hotaka Yamakawa, Takumu Nakano, and Kazuma Okamoto. Outfielders Masataka Yoshida, Seiya Suzuki, Lars Nootbaar, Kensuke Kondo, and Ukyo Shuto. Altogether, 2 Major League pitchers, 3 Major League position players, and an NPB All-Star team. They're going to be tough. Team Taiwan has released their almost final roster, a 36-man roster that'll be narrowed down to 30 early next month. Here they are. I won't go through all the names here. There are 4 players from the Major League system, infielders Yu Chang and Su Wei Lin, Pirates infield prospect Tsung Che Cheng, and Giants pitching prospect Kai Wei Teng. 4 from NPB, Rakuten Eagles reliever Chia Ho Sung, Seibu Lions relief pitcher Yi Chang, Lions infielder Nien Ting Wu, and Nippon Ham Fighters outfielder Po Rong Wong. And the other 28 all come from the CPBL. Among them, former Major League pitchers Wei Chung Wong, Chi Wei Hu, and Jen Ho Tseng. Team captain is CTBC Brothers hitter Wei Chen Wong. Names have been announced for the roster of Team Netherlands. An incomplete list, nothing final yet, but so far it's looking pretty good. Outfielders Richie Palacios, Sedan Rafaela, and Josh Palacios. In the infield, Alexander Bogarts, Andrelton Simmons, Jonathan Scope, and Jurickson Profar. DH, Vladimir Ballantyne. Catcher, Chadwick Trump. Other hitters, Roger Bernardina and Didi Gregorius. Starting pitchers, Lars Hoyer and Sharon Martiz. In the bullpen, Kenley Jansen and Pedro Strop. Almost all of those guys active Major League players. Some good ones in there too. 15 names in all, so they're halfway to a full roster. Canada had been really quiet in the build-up to the WBC, but they started making some noise last week. Freddie Freeman is officially confirmed as a member of Team Canada. He committed back in the summer, but now it's certain. This will be his 2nd time representing Canada. He was on the team for the 2017 WBC. The Naylor brothers are on the preliminary roster for Canada. 25-year-old first baseman Josh Naylor hit 20 home runs in 122 games for the Guardians last year. Slash line 256, 319, 452. His brother Bo, a 22-year-old catcher, made his Major League debut last summer with the Guardians. Both Naylor brothers are left-handed hitters. 29-year-old right-hander Nick Pivetta of the Boston Red Sox. Last year he made 33 starts, 179 and 2/3 innings, 10 wins, and an ERA of 4.56. He is joined on the Canadian pitching staff by Matt Brash and John Axford. Then there will be some good prospects suiting up for Canada. 20-year-old Calvin Ziegler, number 9 prospect in the New York Mets system. He started 16 games at Single-A St. Lucie last year. And the Chicago Cubs' number 10 prospect, 20-year-old outfielder Owen Casey. He reached high Single-A South Bend last season, slashing 254, 349, 402, with 11 homers and 11 steals in 105 games. One more Canadian committed, but not for Canada. 26-year-old infielder Abraham Toro, who was born and raised in Montreal, could have gone with Canada or Venezuela, and he chose the latter. Toro hit 10 home runs in just over 100 games with the Mariners last year, and signed with the Brewers last month. New commit for Mexico, shortstop Marcelo Mayer, the number 7 overall prospect in the MLB system. The 20-year-old left-handed hitter reached high Single-A Greenville in the Red Sox organization last year, where he had an .828 OPS. Trevor Story previously committed to play for Team USA, but that is not going to happen. He had UCL surgery last week and is expected to miss the tournament. 2 new commits for Team Israel. Danny Valencia will be there, a 38-year-old who plays infield and outfield. spent 9 years in MLB, last appearing in 2018 for the Baltimore Orioles. He was also a member of Team Israel in the Tokyo Olympics. And Chicago Cubs prospect Matt Mervis will also be there. The 24-year-old first baseman reached AAA Iowa last summer, where he had a .977 OPS and hit 15 home runs in 57 games. NPB News. The big news last week was the announcement of the new NPB Hall of Fame inductees. First foreign players since 1994 and the first ever to start their careers in MLB. One was Alex Ramirez. The Venezuelan slugger spent 13 years in NPB. His last season was in 2013. Two-time MVP, 8-time All-Star, 4-time Best Nine, 1 batting title, 380 career home runs, and the first foreign player to collect over 2,000 hits. He played for the Swallows, Giants, and ended his career with the Bay Stars, a team he later managed and took to the Japan Series. The other one is Randy Bass, who last appeared with the Hanshin Tigers in 1988. In 1986, he broke the single-season record for batting with a .389 average, a record that still stands today. Nearly broke the home run record that same year with 54. Hit 200 home runs in 5 seasons with Hanshin. A 2-time Triple Crown winner, regular season and Japan Series MVP in 1985. Other NPB news. The Yomiuri Giants have signed 28-year-old outfielder Lewis Brinson. He played in 16 games for the San Francisco Giants last year, hit 3 home runs in only 16 games, but batted just .167. In AAA, he hit 22 homers in 87 games, slash line of .298, .356, .566. Chibalote Marines have signed 29-year-old right-handed pitcher Luis Perdomo. Last year, he made 14 relief appearances, 23 2/3 innings with the Milwaukee Brewers. ERA .380, WHIP .1141. In Taiwan, more off-season news from the CPBL. Rakuten Monkeys got a new foreign pitcher, 28-year-old left-hander Brandon Waddell. Waddell played 2 years at the major league level in 2020 and 2021. Last year, he worked as a starting pitcher in the KBO for the Doosan Bears and as a reliever at AAA Memphis, sub-4 ERA in both roles. And one re-signing for the Monkeys. Braden Hagens will return for the 2023 season. Hagens made 59 relief appearances for the Monkeys in 2022. ERA .144, WHIP .1034. Championship Series in the Dominican Republic's LIDOM is underway. Heading into last week, the 4-team round-robin was winding down. Tigres del Licey and Estrellas Orientales were 8-6. Gigantes del Cibao and Águilas Cibaeñas were 6-8. In 2 days, they all could have been in a 4-way tie again. But that is not what happened. Tigres and Estrellas both added 2 more wins early in the week, and that clinched it. The final 2 games were canceled. Tigres and Estrellas advanced with 10-6 records. Emilio Bonifacio was named MVP of the round-robin stage. 2 homers and 5 steals in the 16 games. Final series started on Friday. Robinson Cano went 3 out of 4 with an RBI. Estrellas took Game 1 5-2. Game 2 on Saturday, Tigres outfielder Mel Rojas Jr. reached base 5 times. 3 walks, 2 hits, a home run, and 2 batted in. Tigres evened up the series with an 8-3 win. Sunday, Game 3, 6 scoreless innings from Tigres pitcher Esmel Rogers. 3 shutout innings from the bullpen. 2 errors by Estrellas proved to be costly, as the game's only run was unearned. Tigres 1-0 to take a 2-1 lead in the series. And that's where they stand right now. Games 4 and 5 on Tuesday and Wednesday. Games 6 and 7, if necessary, on Friday and Saturday. 5 days from now, the champion will be crowned, and ticket will be punched for the Caribbean Series. In Mexico, LMP semifinals in progress. Thought one of them might be done by now, but they're still going. At the start of the week, Algodoneros de Guasave beat Sultanes de Monterrey, and Yaquis de Obregón beat Águilas de Mexicali in the last quarterfinal series. Algodoneros moved on to beat number 1 seed Naranjeros de Hermosillo. Naranjeros took Game 1 easily, 8-1. Algodoneros took Game 2 4-3 to even the series. A close one in Game 3 that went to Naranjeros 2-1. Game 4 was called off. That'll be continued today. Algodoneros lead 4-2 after 7 innings. Yaquis moved on to meet second-seeded Cañeros de los Mochis. Game 1 went to Cañeros 2-1. Game 2, same score. Cañeros took a 2-0 lead in the series. Game 3, another close one. Cañeros 3-2. Would it be another nail-biter won by Cañeros for the sweep? No. Yaquis' offense exploded for 15 runs, making sure the series continued for another day. So today, games 4 and 5 between Naranjeros and Algodoneros. They'll finish Sunday's game, then go right into the next one. Naranjeros lead the series 2-1. They can end the series today if they come back and win Game 4, then win Game 5. But they are down by 2 in that first game. Cañeros and Yaquis will play Game 5. Cañeros hold a 3-1 series lead. Yaquis must win to stay alive. In Puerto Rico, the LBPRC semifinals were last week. Top-seeded Criollos de Caguas were taking on Indios de Mayagüez, while Gigantes de Carolina were meeting Cangrejeros de Santurce. Criollos and Indios split the first two, both one-run games. Indios won the next two to take a 3-1 series lead. Criollos fought back with a 10-1 blowout in Game 5, but in Game 6, Indios prevailed 2-1 to take the series in 6. Indios avenged last year's loss in the final series. Criollos, the two-time defending champions, are out. The other series went like this. Game 1, Gigantes 3-2. Game 2, Cangrejeros 2-1. Cangrejeros 4-3. Gigantes 2-0. Cangrejeros 6-5. Gigantes 2-0. Series tied at 3-3. All games have been decided by 1 or 2 runs. Expect Game 7 to be a good one. That's today. It was rained out on Sunday. Winner will meet Indios in the final series, starting later this week. Round-robin stage is still going in Venezuela. This is the last week for that. 2 of the 5 teams will advance to the final series. And right now, Tiburones de la Guaira and Leones del Caracas are in those 2 spots, separated by a half game. Tigres de Aragua are only a half game behind Leones. Navegantes are a game and a half from that spot. Cardenales de Lara, second place during the regular season, are on the brink of elimination. They lost 5 out of 6 games last week. Today, Cardenales visit Tiburones. Navegantes are at Tigres. Round will come to an end on Saturday. Final week of the regular season in Australia. One more 4-game series for all 8 teams, and then it's playoff time. Brisbane Bandits had already clinched the Northeast Division the week before. Against the last-place Sydney Blue Sox, they won 3 out of 4, and that was enough to clinch the number 1 seed for the entire ABL playoffs. Even with 4 games left, they've guaranteed the best record in the ABL regular season. Southwest Division leader Adelaide Giants started strong with a 7-0 shutout of the Melbourne Aces, but then dropped 3 consecutive one-run games to lose the series. That one win, though, was good enough to clinch a spot in the playoffs. Second place, Perth Heat split 2 games with the Canberra Cavalry to gain 1 game in the division race, and Northeast number 2, the Auckland Tuatara, won 3 out of 4 from Geelong, Korea. Northeast standings, no one's catching Brisbane, of course, but there's a good race for second. Auckland leads by just 1 game over third place Canberra. Sydney will finish last in the division, probably worst in all of the ABL. In the Southwest, Adelaide's lead is down to a single game over second-place Perth. Melbourne kept its slim playoff hopes alive with that series win over Adelaide and got themselves out of that tie for last. Geelong owns the cellar now, 2 games behind Melbourne. This week, last round in the regular season, 1 makeup game on Tuesday, Geelong at Melbourne. Thursday to Sunday, Geelong at Adelaide. Adelaide trying to hold on to their 1-game lead. Geelong hoping to be the spoiler. Brisbane at Auckland. Auckland will try to clinch a spot in the playoffs. Canberra at Sydney. Canberra hoping they can leap past Auckland in the standings. And Melbourne at Perth. Melbourne hoping to sneak into the playoffs. Perth trying to take over the top spot. LPB in Colombia got its 3-team playoff started last week. Caimanes de Barranquilla and Vaqueros de Monteria were meeting in a best-of-3 semi-final round. Tigres de Cartagena were awaiting the winner in the final series. Vaqueros won the first 2 at home, 6-3 on Tuesday and 1-0 on Wednesday. They were 1 win away from advancing. But Caimanes came storming back on their home field, 6-1 in Game 3, came from behind in Game 4 to win 6-5 and force Game 5. On Sunday, back in Monteria, close game all the way to the end. Vaqueros held on for a 5-4 win. They advanced to the LPB Championship Series. Caimanes, the 2-time defending LPB champions and last year's Caribbean Series champions, are out. Vaqueros move on to face regular season champion Tigres de Cartagena in the final series. No schedule for that series at this time. In Cuba, the Elite League Championship Series is underway. Heading into last week, Agriculturas held a 3-0 series lead over Tabacaleros, while Portuarios had a 3-1 advantage over Centrales. Agriculturas won 5-4 on Monday to finish off the sweep. Centrales eked out another win on Monday, but Portuarios finished the job on Tuesday to take the series in 6. That left us with Agriculturas and Portuarios in the Championship Series. Games 1 and 2 on Saturday and Sunday. First game, a high-scoring one, went to Portuarios 13-11. Second one, more modest scoring, also won by Portuarios 4-3. Both were home games for top-seeded Agriculturas. Now Portuarios get to play at home with a 2-0 series advantage. Game 3 is on Tuesday. In Panama, the 3-team Pro Base playoffs got started with the semifinals early last week. Regular season champion Federales de Chiriquí received a bye directly to the final series. They were waiting for the winner of Águilas Metropolitanas and Atlanticos. Atlanticos cruised in Game 1 on Tuesday 8-1. Wednesday, Águilas fought back with a 5-3 win, forcing Game 3. On Friday, Game 3 went to extra innings. Atlanticos walked it off for a 4-3 win. In their first season in Pro Base, Atlanticos advanced to the final series. Game 1 of the finals started on Sunday. Federales had a 2-1 lead in the second inning, but the game was stopped because of rain. That game will be played tonight. In Nicaragua, only a couple games remain in the 4-team, 12-game round robin. Still don't know which two teams will be in the championship series. Just like the regular season, the round robin is going to be close till the very end. 2 games remaining and every team is still alive. Gigantes de Rivas sit at the top at 6-4. 2 teams trail by 1 game, Indios del Bor and Leones de Leon, both 5-5. Tren del Norte can't afford to make any mistakes. They need to win their last 2 games to reach the championship series. Today is a day off. Tuesday, Tren at Indios and Gigantes at Leones. Gigantes will clinch with a win there. Wednesday, Indios at Tren and Leones at Gigantes. That will conclude the round-robin stage, and they'll be ready for the final series. And that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.